Hello everyone, Patrick here, and today I'm going to talk about upgrading your PC, because 'tis the season. Ryzen has come out, lots of new graphics cards, the 1080 Ti, and all sorts of awesome things are happening in the tech world that might lead you to decide to upgrade. But the question is when? When is the right time to upgrade, and what sort of cycle or what sort of upgrades should you be doing? Well, I'm going to be upgrading soon, and there's going to be a lot of videos coming out about the upgrades, the things I've chosen, unboxing a lot of parts, so I'm super excited for that. Looking forward to making a lot of videos regarding that, even a long build guide. I'm going to be doing a water cooling build again. So I wanted to talk about the reasons you should upgrade or you shouldn't, or what you should upgrade. And remember guys, below, comment your questions, ask me anything, and I'll hopefully be able to help you in any sort of PC related stuff. I'm happy to help, happy to comment. Just let me know what you need. Alright, so first thing we're going to look at is if you already have a gaming computer, let's say you're in the DDR2 era, the RAM of DDR2, the very old sort of family computer you expect to have, that you've just been playing very small time games and you want to get into the big blockbuster games where you need a bit more performance. If you are on DDR2, upgrading is an easy choice. Going to DDR4, you are skipping a generation, which means you don't even have to deal with the expense of going to DDR3. You're going straight to the next gen, and that is awesome. It's like going from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3. Like, you skipped number 2, even though it was better than number 3, it's still performance-wise, and everybody's on it anyway now. And also, I mean, I know there's PlayStation 4, but just kidding. 1, 2, 3. So you're skipping that generation, you're not having to worry about choosing the DDRs. You know, you're going to choose DDR4, and it doesn't even have to be the top end because of the huge jump you're doing. Whatever you get on the new system, the new chipset, you will have a huge performance boost. So that's easy. Now, if you are on DDR3, which is what I believe most of the people that are in gaming are at the moment, if you are on DDR4, that's fantastic. You must have upgraded pretty darn quickly. I think if you are on DDR3, there is a point where you have to decide, is it time to upgrade? For me, it pretty much is, because I got into DDR3, well, I've had 2 upgrades on DDR3, so I've already lived through that era a few times now, and I've got to a point where I said, no, I am not going to be upgrading until anything new comes out that is on the next generation, so DDR4. So even when DDR4 came out, I saw the performance difference. I didn't see the need to upgrade just yet, so I waited a long time till it became actually efficient and cheaper to upgrade. So, if you are on DDR3, and look, I know I keep saying DDR3, it's just an easy way to say that generation. I know the chipsets have been multiple places here. You can have DDR3 multiple chips, multiple Intel, multiple AMD. Now we've got Ryzen, multiple Intels up there. But if you're on DDR3, you have to look at it in the sense that if you go from DDR3 to DDR4, you're gonna have to get a new motherboard, a new chipset. Is your chipset not performing well? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Is it running too hot? Have you been overclocking it too much, even though all the Gumtree's ads say never been overclocked? If somebody says to you it's never been overclocked, it has been overclocked, guys. How easy is that to figure out? If they know about overclocking, they've overclocked it. So your chipset and your motherboard will have to change, obviously, but your graphics cards does not have to. So you could have upgraded your graphics card to, that's the new 1080 Ti, and your motherboard and stuff is still DDR3, and your chipset is either Intel or AMD. So that's great. Easy upgrade. You one piece, you upgrade it. But what about that chipset? When do you decide to change your motherboard? Well, in my opinion, it's when the CPU is just not performing very well in all the new mainstream games, and if you're choosing to go to Windows 10. There is now, unfortunately, and I know a lot of people love their 8.1 and Windows 7, there is actually a little bit of reason to go to Windows 10. I'm not going to get into too much, but there is some things to do with 4K where the new Intel chips have it that they will only work on Windows 10. And even you can't upgrade. You have to upgrade. Sometimes there's a message now. You won't get updates on Windows 7 if you are using the new Intel chips. So you can't even really get security updates or patches on Windows 7. I know you're getting forced to do it, but there is a bit of benefit. And I really wonder what these haters go on about Windows 10. I love Windows 10. Really, really love it. It's a great system. Even more so than 7. I feel more productive on it. I can do things quicker. But yeah, let's not get into that. So you're upgrading now your graphics card, you're gonna upgrade your chipset, and you're gonna upgrade your motherboard. Do you need to upgrade your PSU? Probably not. To me, the PSU has been the most long-lasting piece in my computer, apart from the hard drives. I don't really see them as much of an upgrade in performance when you go up in sizes. But the PSU has been one of the most loved pieces of my build. It's gone through so many builds that I love it. It's great. When you buy a very decent power supply in your computer, it will last 2 generations, 4 builds, potentially. And now with power requirements of all your processors and graphics cards going even lower, it will last even longer. You don't need to buy a 2000 watt or 1500 power supply every time you upgrade. You can stay with it. And if it's modular, you can probably buy extra little parts from a provider like Corsair, who have a lot of, bits and pieces, accessories that you can buy for a lot of their lineup, which is good when you've got a big provider providing extra accessories, something with smaller ones you don't get. So if you make that initial investment in your PSU, it'll stay with you for quite a while. With cases, it's the same thing. If you invest in a nice case that has a lot of upgradability, a lot of space, you can grow with it, it can scale with you, and you upgrade into, let's say, an SLI system, or you get water cooling. If you're not inclined to go water cooling, then you can get a smaller case and you can continue that upgradability as long as, there's not much technology change in cases. It's very much an ego thing. Guys, it is. The case doesn't have to look good. As long as the performance is there, you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the case that looks good. Personally, I like a plain black case, but I've decided I'm gonna change it up. Yep. So I'm kind of contradicting myself there, but I'm going to change it up just to have something a little bit different. But again, it's not actually particularly expensive. The parts that I'm buying in my next upgrade, and you'll see all these parts one by one, are actually cheaper than the stuff that I bought now. For example, my next motherboard is a lot cheaper than the one I bought for this build. Why? Because I realized in my own stupidity and my eagerness that I don't need all those weird, expensive features that some motherboards tout. You don't need them. As long as it does everything you need, you don't need a lot of those extras, and a lot of the branding and the ROG is what I'm talking about. If you're getting an ROG motherboard, you're really just selling out to that brand. There's not that many extras. I did have an ROG board in my AMD build, and then I went to this board, which is a step down from the ROG series. It's a Sabertooth series. It had a lot less of the ROG branding, and it performed as good. I would say even better, to be honest. And so now I'm going even less. I'm dropping that whole thing. We're going to a Strix one, but ASUS still sticking to ASUS. I do like their aftercare, and I do like their warranties. So I'm going to Strix. It's not ROG branded. It's just very simple, no shrouds. Looks good, has all the features I need, has all the audio features, which is important to me. So that's where I'm going. So you'll see that in another video upcoming. But back to you guys, the PSU and the case, things that will stick around for a long time. Nothing really upgrades in a case. I mean, the I/O doesn't really change. You're still going to USB. Even USB-C is not as prominent as it should be or would be in the future. It's getting there. I know Apple might even go with USB-C in the near future in their iPhone 8 or 9. We never know. We should be watching. So what's another part that's going to stay with you a long time? Well, potentially your CPU cooler. If you have bought one of those nice fan coolers, they should actually fit on the next generation of board. Because what's the point of remaking all these coolers to fit new boards every time a new chipset comes out? It's better just to have that one performance and it being able to custom fit into any other one. So when you're looking to upgrade from DDR3 to DDR4 chipsets, you can look at it this way. All you need to upgrade is your motherboard and your CPU. That is the only thing that changes when you're going to that. And that's also the case against upgrading. If that's the only two parts and they're particularly expensive, changing to going to the next generation, are you going to get a performance boost big enough to really actually be worthwhile? And I know the RAM is there, but the RAM is still priced the same. It still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter as much as it should. Maybe in the near future, RAM will become more important, but the performance from DDR3 to DDR4 is marginal. 2%, 5% I've seen in some benchmarks. Very, very minimal. It could be a frame or two off your game that you'll be playing. So, CPU and motherboard, that is the only two that change in that cycle, in that generation. Your graphics card will still work in this generation and the next. So, if you are upgrading, think about it this way. Do you really need to upgrade your CPU? Is it really, really old? Are you on the Intel 4400s? Then yes, it's a good idea to upgrade. You will actually get a benefit. If you've got an i7 that's, already brand new, like Devil's Canyon, the last generation before DDR4 came in, then do you need to upgrade? Well, I suppose you still can, but it's probably still performing pretty well. If you're on i5 and you want to go to an i5 on DDR4, sure, but is it going to get the performance? Check performances of the systems. That is my suggestion to you, because money might be better spent getting a graphics card or even a better cooling system than those two bits and pieces. But on my note, I am going to be changing those two parts because I want to keep up with the technology and I want to make videos about it, and hopefully I'll have a better answer for you guys as to if it was worthwhile to upgrade. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do heaps of benchmarks before I leave this system, and I'm going to go into the next one, and I'm going to do a bit of cost for performance. But I'm also going to include the fact that if you sell a lot of these parts on Gumtree after you upgrade them, you can make a bit more money. So, look out for the video where I try and calculate, is it worthwhile doing an upgrade every cycle to sell off the parts to someone else on Gumtree who's a budget builder, and you upgrade, get a bit of money back, and how much do you end up spending to actually upgrade? That is an important view, isn't it? If you only spend, let's say the cost of it is $2,000 to upgrade everything in your system, but you can sell most of the parts that you're replacing for, let's say $1,000, technically speaking, you're upgrading your system for $1,000. Is it worth it? Is the performance gain worth it? Is your ego feeling better? These are all questions I'm hoping to answer with this huge upgrade coming up. So to summarize this video, I suppose, if you are going from DDR2 to DDR4, 100% upgrade. If you're thinking about it, do it. Take the step, take the leap, you're gonna not regret it. If you are going from DDR3 to DDR4 chipsets, you must be in the lower end of the DDR3s to really make it worthwhile to upgrade. Or if it's time to really get more performance out of your system, you're just not getting those frame rates, you've upgraded your monitor, it's 144 Hz monitor, and you're not getting those frame rates, do it. But check your graphics card and check your CPU, because potentially you could jump on Gumtree, pick up somebody's i7 for cheap, and put it into your system and hit those high resolutions and high frame rates. So there's a few options, and I guess it depends on your budget. If you have the money to upgrade to brand new parts, do it. Get the economy spinning. We need it here in Australia. But if you're a budget builder, look out for people who buy upgrades very quickly and try and sell off their parts on Gumtree or on eBay. If they're working and they're good parts, you could actually have a better system. So in that video that I was talking about, is it worthwhile just keep doing that budget build? DDR3 staying in there until there's DDR5, then you go to DDR4 when all the guys who are going to 5 are selling off their parts to 4. You never know. So see you guys in a lot more videos regarding these topics. I just wanted to get these opinions out of my head and let you guys know that, yeah, big upgrades are coming and a lot more videos about individual parts. So I'll catch you in those.